So today I'm re-upping. I'm gonna take a stop at the Flowery over here in Venice, but I've had this idea for a video written down for years now. But I wanna talk about 5 red flags at the flower shop. It's the D word, but if I say it, the tubes will get me. They're for babies. Look, if you don't follow me on Twitch yet, that's where the cool content is, twitch.tv/Cewpins. I can show the cool stuff over there, and I can say it. But I'm gonna talk about 5 red flags at the flower shop here. So maybe next time you're there, you can look for one of these and go, you know what? Let me reconsider this.
They call me the ball breaker. You should kick me out the club. I'm a big bad wolf. I'm a Jameson Doug. I wave high while I'm cave diving day high. Coated in KY, Lord, you on the hayride.
Dang, look at that ocean. I saw that circle earlier. It looks like they're doing yoga over there. I'm not sure if it's the instructor or not. Somebody's right in the middle of the circle. I'm like, you gotta be the best at yoga if you're in the middle. But number one thing on the list here, this one is gonna be a little bit delicate because not everywhere you go, but a place that has too many options is a red flag for me. Now, there is some exception to this. I worry about the place that has like 80 different flavors of flower and one person's growing them all. I do go to places that have a lot of options, but they're getting them from different places. They have third-party providers. Other people are growing what they got. Like where I'm going today, the Flowery, they work with a lot of different brands. They actually have a ton of stuff, but it's not like the same guy in charge of it all. So you end up getting good quality. I can't tell you how many shops I've been into where they're like, yeah, we got 60 flavors of flower all from the same facility. We're killing it over there. And everything smells like hay, or everything sucks. No matter which one you smell or look at, they all look bad. You kind of got to check. If you can see what you're working with, if you can smell what you're working with, make sure they all don't smell the same. But if you're at a shop and they got 50 flavors, you smelled 5 of them and you're getting like the same smell, get out of there. This also kind of applies to carts, right? They're like, we got 100 different kinds of carts. Like that's all the same distillate with different terps added. Now on the flip side of that, just so I can give you some perspective, if they have too few options, that could also be a red flag. Like, are they messing up every harvest? Are they just ruining it over there and they're only able to successfully grow 1 or 2 options? You gotta ask, why are there so few? Why are there so many? Now, number 2 on the list of red flags at the flower shop here, this one's a little bit tricky and I'll just explain, but it's too many deals or too good of a deal. And you know I like deals, but sometimes the deals are a red flag. Now, you should be getting good deals, right? You pull in on April 20th, they should have at least 25, 40% off, something like that, right? But you go in on any old Tuesday and they're like, hey, dude, 80% off of here. Why? Or, hey, we got 20 flavors, but one of them is 95% off today only, doorbuster, blah, blah, blah. Why are they selling it so cheap? Every single time I've bought the thing that's on super sale, it's always bad. And there's usually only 1 or 2 reasons why it's that much of a discount. And the first reason is it happens, right? They got so much of one option, they got so much of one batch that they're like, if we don't reduce the price on this, it's just not gonna sell quick enough. And the last bit of it's gonna be so dry, nobody's gonna want it. Sometimes they gotta push it out, but sometimes they just messed it up so bad that they're just trying to get rid of it. It's an embarrassment in the shop. And they're like, whatever you can do, get this out of the door. Now, I'm cautious of places that have weird deals all the time. If they have too many deals, I hate this where I can't buy flour except on Monday because it's like 50% off and every other day it's full price. Or if I want to get concentrates, I got to go on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'm going to overpay. That kind of stuff is annoying, especially for somebody like me who likes to pick up in bulk. Because if only one of the things I'm trying to get is on sale, that sucks for me. I'm trying to get a little bit of variety of everything. Not every shop does like this, but some do it, and it's so annoying. Now, it's okay to get deals every now and then, but if it's like $1 pre-rolls or something like that, just be cautious of that, right? Unless they never do it. It might be good, but if they're doing it all the time, there's a chance that that's some do. Now, the third red flag at the flower shop, you're not gonna know off of one visit. You're gonna have to go a few times, but it is inconsistency with the products. Now, if you often go and get the same flavor of flower every time, and sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it's in between, that is a red flag. Now, this can happen for a number of reasons, and one common one one that I found is they just have like a high turnover in the grow. Like it's different people watering the plants each week and it's not the same guy and they're always training somebody new. Now, if you go often and it's about the same quality every time, that's a good sign because you're gonna be able to gauge your expectations. But sometimes if they're inconsistent, you go load up one day where they've had the worst batch they've had in months, maybe years, and now you have a ton of it. Now, this isn't just flower quality you wanna look at, but like the edibles, do they hit harder sometimes? Do you take the same dose each time, but sometimes you're just getting way more lit, or sometimes it doesn't hit at all. Dang old wheelies. So it can be hard to know, right? Just because you go in one time and they had some pretty good stuff that time doesn't mean it's always gonna be like that. But if you go in and your first time ever, it's really bad, take note of that. Now, the best growers, the best extractors, they all have bad batches. Sometimes it's just not as good as the average or not as good as the rest. So this benefits me now that I typically buy in bulk. I try to find the more consistent places because otherwise I'm just gonna get a bunch of stuff that I don't want. And that's happened to me several times throughout the years. There's also other ways to be inconsistent. Some places are inconsistent with their deals or inconsistent with their customer service. Sometimes you go in, it's a great experience. Sometimes you go in, you're like, what's wrong with them? So I like a place that's very consistent. If they're not, that's a red flag for me. All right, now red flag number 4, I might have to do a bonus at the end. I didn't know if I was gonna include this one, but I think it's important. But if they mess up my online order like one time, or if I can never place an online order without a phone call. I haven't run into this actually too recently, but when I first moved back to Florida and I was always doing an online order, every shop that I placed one at would just call me like 20 minutes, 30 minutes after, an hour after, and say something like, hey bud, you know all that stuff that you just added to your cart and said check out and you're gonna come get? Yeah, we don't got none of that stuff, not any of it. And this has happened to me on small orders, big orders. I'm getting one thing, I'm getting 20 things. And it's the worst to try to replace the order over the phone. And they're like, well, what do you want? And then you go, I don't know, I'm not looking at the menu. And then they hit you with the, oh, do you like sativa or indica? And you're like, I wanted the good stuff. So you just gotta be careful with it. All right, let's see if we get some wheelies here. Now, the reason that this made it to the list that I'm including this is I had this happen so bad one time that I'm a little scarred. But I put an online order at a place once, and I'm not gonna say the name of them, but the name starts with a T. But I put in like a decent order with like a ton of stuff. They didn't call me, they didn't say there was anything wrong, and I show up and they had less than half of my order ready. And they were like, yeah, bro, we just didn't have what you wanted. Now, it's fine for me to get there and for them to not have it, but they got me so good. So not only did they mess up my whole online order, they showed me things I couldn't even get and let me put it in. They didn't call me to correct it. And when I got there, they literally told me that I would have to wait in line to get my whole order. And they had like 35, 40% of what I was trying to get. For somebody who buys in bulk, that was so annoying and I was so mad at the place. I don't think I've been back since, I'm not gonna lie. So if you've ordered from a place your last 5 times and every time they call you like, hey, we don't have this, we don't have that, bruh, something's going on over there. They need to fix their setup, their website doesn't work, something's off, you're gonna get so screwed one day. You're gonna place an order and they're gonna say they have stuff and they're not gonna have anything there one day. Like that's a big fear that I have. Now, number 4 on the list, you can kind of lump it in with one of the other ones, but this is a bit more specific, but it's if the prepared stuff is cheaper than the loose stuff. Now, I have a few examples here, but like probably the biggest and best example is some of these shops will tell you they have pre-ground flour and they say it's their regular buds, but for some reason, they do all the labor of grinding it up and it ends up being half the price of the regular buds, but they're assuring you that it's the regular buds. Now, some places are nice enough to let you know, hey, this is our lower quality stuff. This is trim and larf and hang on, dude. What's up, bro? He's chilling. But they'll do you a solid and let you know, but some places give you this expectation that you're gonna be getting their regular quality, like premium flour, and they're grinding it up for you and discounting it by like 50%. Now, for some people, you don't need to hear me say this. You go, why is this so much cheaper? Something's wrong. But some people need to hear it, so I'm putting it on the list. And this is true for other things. Like if they have like loose live rosin, but then they have the same stuff in the carts and it's way cheaper in the carts, how? They had to pay somebody more money and they had to spend more time getting it into the cartridge, and they got to pay for the cartridge itself. So if it's cheaper than the regular stuff, something's off. And I mentioned this earlier, but pre-rolls are a good example. And some of these places are sweeping the flour up off the floor just to give you the pre-rolls. And they're like, nah, dude, it's our regular stuff. And you bust it open, you're like, dog, there's cat hairs in here. What are we talking about? There's people staring at me. They got like a thing going over there, and instead of watching the thing, people are staring at me. Is it crazy to have a camera in public? I feel like when I'm IRL streaming on Twitch, like I don't notice people noticing me because I'm reading chat, but there's no chat. I'm literally out here talking to myself. So anyway, a good opportunity to remind you to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cewpins. That's where we can do the cool stuff. Also, I'm posting pictures of the stuff that I get today on Twitter or x.com/Cewpins. No videos over there, but I'm posting X pictures. And also follow the Flowery on Twitter. They post some cool stuff over there, and I think they got their Instagram back, so definitely check them out. So I said 5 in the beginning, but we're doing 6. Maybe I'll do that in the title, I don't know. But I'm outside of the spaceship here, getting ready to get my Flowery pickup. And my bonus red flag, or red flag number 6. Ooh. Rabbit chilling. I guess I'm a red flag for him. Now this one can be tricky because not every place knows, but a place that sells bad devices. If you've seen a video of mine and I'm saying, hey, this is the worst thing ever, and the shop is selling it, they're selling garbage. Look, the devices can be bad just like the flour can be bad. And I've been into a few shops where they have really good quality flour, but then everything that they want you to put it through is not good. So if you're seeing like electric nectar collectors, honey straws, that kind of stuff, you're seeing like dragon eggs or like plastic e-rigs, be cautious of that stuff. And I've seen some places are selling like tobacco wraps, so you can go home and roll a bleezy, but it's like, don't sell that. Now I'm trying to put as much good information about devices out there as I can, because some of these companies watch the videos and they go, hey, let's not sell the bad stuff because we want to do our customers right and have good things, because you could get the best flour, but if you take it home and put it through the worst device, it's not good anymore. So that can be a red flag. It just means they're not looking to every level of what they're selling down to the devices, which they should be. I've been into some places where they have only devices I don't recommend, and I'm just like, yeesh. I'll ask, like, hey, is this stuff pretty popular? And I always go, oh, yeah, decent. People get it a lot. But some people go in there fresh off a Cewpins video, and they know, don't get that. All right, just cop the pickup. The bag is secured. I got a lot. Anyway, that's 5, 6 red flags at the dispo. Look, I can't show you the cool stuff. YouTube is for babies. So if you want to see what I got, follow me on Twitter or X. It's free, but I'm also going to be showing it every night when I get lit on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern. Stop by. Let's get lit. Later, my dudes.